What's going on, charming people? So this is about sharing your story. This is something that's really close to my heart. I'm going to have a little challenge that'll come out, but until it's ready, I wanted to leave you guys with some value for those of y'all who have been kind of on the fence of like, I kind of want to get into content creation. I kind of want to start sharing my story. And I really want to address some of the questions right away that I get all the time. I've written them down, being nervous, where to start, how to format it, best way to tell your story, and what gear to use. And you know, it's my sincere hope that after this video, one person sees this and goes out and creates and starts to share their story. So the number one thing that I hear people talk about is that they're nervous to share their story. They're nervous. And the problem with being nervous is it's not that much of a problem. When I hear people talk about, well, Luke, I'm nervous to share my story because of what people are going to think, people are going to judge me, like, what? They're judging you already. You all watching this, you're judging me right now. And what's he saying? Do I agree with it or not? And one of the things I think is that nervousness. The one thing that I always tell people, you're nervous because you care. Now, I'm nervous making this video for you because I really care about you and I want you to be able to share your story and be able to help and benefit other people. I know that you've been through so much and you've still going through a lot, but some of the things you've worked through, and that could be like a life-saving survival guide for somebody else. But it's not if it never comes out of your mouth and from your voice to other people where they can see it. And the one thing I always am telling people is you could die. Like, you could die before you ever get to share it. You could die before you even get this lesson out or that book written. Why not just jump on and just share it? Like, forget about it. I've always had this belief, and I think that sometimes it comes down to that. The people who are sharing it have a different belief than the people who aren't sharing it. Some people know that, hey, one day I know people will watch it. For example, my channel, the views are down. Maybe the views go to 0, but I was like, in my mind, I know one day someone will. I know at least one person might hear it and they'll change. One day. That's a belief that I hang on to. And that's a very useful belief instead of, well, no one's watching, so I'm not going to do it. I don't think that's too great of a way to sometimes start when it comes to sharing things, is doing it from a perspective of like, well, you should watch me. You know, that disappointment and entitlement usually follows itself. So being nervous, it just means you care. And it's okay to care. It's one of my biggest superpowers. I truly care. When people don't watch my videos, it's like I care. I'm like, people could be missing this, they could be helping them out. When people don't say hello to me on the street, I'm like, man, maybe I could have cheered them up or said something. So that nervousness, it means you care. The second question, as I told you guys, is where to start. Some of you guys are so worried about, where do I start sharing content, Luke? I'm 64 years old. Where do I even start? Do I start back in, 1964 when I was born? Is that where I start? Like, no. What if you start with what you've just come out of? What if you start with the story of the storm you just came out of? What if you started right where you just helped someone else have a breakthrough? You know, the one person that always comes to you and asks you for advice and you just help them have a breakthrough. What if you started there? Or better yet, what if you start right where you are? Like, literally, what if you're where you are right now and you just decide to start from there? Like, this is where I am. I'm going to start from here with what I have. For me, I'm sitting here. I'm sitting in my office. It's office / like my little office, sleep, rest. I can kind of do everything here, space. And what if I just started here? What if this is the first video I'd ever put out? Guys, my name is Luke from Luke Life Charms. And I here in Mexico at the moment, and I really want to help people. And I hope that my videos, that what you guys see and listen to, will provide so much value for you guys that you will have a massive change in your life. It's my deepest desire. What if that was your first video? Then the thoughts that went through your head tomorrow, conversations that you have, movies you watch, when you got an idea, instead of just writing it down on your paper and forgetting it, you know those things you write down and forget about? What if you just said, I'm going to share it? What if that was it? So what if your first video, I tell this to my clients, what if your first video was why you're starting it? What's the result of your channel? What's the result of the blog you're writing? What's the result of the content you're putting out? What's the result? What's the result that you want to have? What is it? Is it to help entertain people? Is it to inspire people? Is it a little bit of both? Is it to sell something? Is it to change someone? Like, what is it? And then why are you doing it? Are you doing it just for the money? You're doing it just for the views? Or you're doing it because it's like, this is what I want to leave behind for my great grandkids to watch? Different motivation, or a different inspiration, I should say, because motivation is a symptom. That's different. When times get hard, that little difference is going to make all the difference. And then the next thing was how to format it. Some people are asking, how do I format it? What do I do? How do I format it? Like in the store, you push record on the camera, you start talking. Format it like this. This is a go-to format. I gave this advice as early as I gave that advice. The last time I gave it was about 5 days ago. I had someone close to me going to give a big speech they were nervous about. And I just said, come out and tell people, hey guys, I'm super nervous whenever I have to give speeches, but I want to make sure that I can get the best value for you guys and give you the most I can. So this is from my heart. And start speaking. That's simple. Don't worry about trying to format it and get it perfect. And people who are very analytical people and people who are perfectionists, they struggle the most with this. My clients who are perfectionists, they struggle the most. It's never good enough. And for some people, that's a pattern. If it's never good enough, it's never good enough. It will never be good enough. There's some people that it will never be good enough. They'll never have enough money. They'll never spend enough time with you. They'll never have enough things. There's never enough. It's like a disease. But that's not you though, is it? That can change. What if you're saying, I'm nervous, I'm not sure what to talk about, but this is what I've went through and I want to help you guys avoid some pain. And you just start talking. So the next question, second to last question is, well, what's the best way to do it? What's the best way to share? Luke, which way scares you the most? For most people, it's video. So when I have a client and we're about to get them sharing stuff on social media or just content online on their website or wherever it is for them, I'm like, what scares you the most? They're like, oh, it's video. Perfect. Let's do video. Because that fear that you have to do it and who you have to become to get over that fear is what makes the magic in your life, which makes you stand up to anything, that makes you rock solid. You don't back down. You feel the fear. You do it anyways. That's the power. That's the power of that. Doing something that's easy, you don't really grow. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever noticed how you don't really grow when it's too easy? You don't even really like it. Like the familiar. People talk about the familiar all the time. Like it's a great place. It's just familiar. That's why it's comfortable. That's it. Doesn't mean it's a good thing. Not at all. So then the final question that I want to tackle on this, like I say, I'm currently putting together a challenge that's going to be live with me that people have an opportunity to join. Whenever it's ready, I'll link it in here, probably a few weeks from now, honestly. But this, like I say, I hope this helps you out, especially this last question, because I get this. It's probably early on in my career is what I got the most. Was, what gear do I use, Luke? What gear do I use? Famous question. And it's a very interesting question in the time we live in now, because you got a phone, don't you? Use that. Doesn't have to be the greatest phone. Does it have a camera on it? Use it. Does it have a microphone on it? Use it. You can download a podcast. You can download Anchor, Anchor. I'm not sponsored by them, but you can download that. I use it all the time. That's where I put my podcasts. Record it right on my phone, upload it. The world has it. YouTube videos, I've started lately, not even editing some of them, filming it on my phone, uploading it directly. Instagram, TikTok, all the different, you can do all that on your phone. So what's the gear to start with? The gear that you have with you right now. Because the thing that I hear the most popular, I wish I had them close to me. I do have it here, but it's not close to me. Is people are like, well, Luke, should I use like the camera like you use? So sometimes I use a Canon 70D. Well, that's a $1,200 camera when I got it. It has a $400 lens on it. It has a $100 microphone on the top. It has another $100 Gorilla Pod that I hold it up with. It has a filter on the lens, which was another $30. It has a SD card, which was about $70. I need to edit that on a computer, a good computer, because I use Final Cut Pro, which is a $300 program. I edited on a MacBook, which was, well, now I have a cheaper one. I have just the M1 MacBook Air because it's lighter, which was only $1,000. But before, my MacBook was souped up and it was $2,000 for the MacBook Pro. And then now I need a little dongle, which is another $100. So that's a lot of things that have to happen. That's a lot of expenses. And that's just like, skip that. Like, for what? It's not the point in the beginning. The point in the beginning is you to get your story out, not for it to be perfect and to look like a movie. You wouldn't even like it that way anyways, because if you think it needs to be perfect, then it will never be perfect. You know it. You know you can't be perfect. It's just like a trick you're using on yourself. Like, you want to be perfect, but can you ever be perfect? Can you be perfect at anything? So you're already starting off on downhill, because you know you can never be perfect at anything, but yet you're striving to be something you know you can never be. How depressing is that subconsciously? So use the gear you have. Know what you want to do, who you want to help. You want a very simple thing, simple coaching thing I do with my clients. Think of some things you've been through. Make a list, literally simple. Show you exactly what you can do. Have my clients do this all the time. 2 lines. You got 3 sides on here, okay? First one, you just write down what you've been through. Something you went through. Divorce, breakup, injury, like lost job, whatever it is. Then the next thing is like, what did you learn from that? And what do you want the world to know about that experience? And find a way to put that into a story. We'll dive all into it in the challenge, into a challenge. We're gonna talk all about that and all this. But I want to leave you with something right now that is literally, I'll put this in my group coaching for the people, but I could have easily just charged you guys what they pay to be in it. But I wanted to put this out here because I believe that so many of you have so much to offer to the world and you don't see it. And the sad part of you not seeing is that you're subconsciously devaluing yourself. And which sounds bad, but here's the worst part of when you devalue yourself. When you lower your value that you have on yourself, don't expect anyone to ever raise it. Ever. If they start to lower the cost on an iPhone, for example, or they lower the cost on a car, or they lower the cost on a watch, they lower the cost of it, you think people are going to protest that it should cost more? No, people don't protest that. People will take you for whatever you give them. If you devalue yourself so much you don't even want to look in the camera and let people see your face, what is that saying about you? At what point in time did you not want people to see your face? What changed? Kids love to be on the camera. I pull the camera out in front of my niece, she goes crazy. I pull the camera out in front of kids here. Everyone jumps in, hey, and into my selfie, try to get in the selfie. But something happened and now you're scared to show your face. Really? So I hope that this was beneficial to somebody. Any other questions you guys have, leave in the comments below. You guys want to book a call, you're able to do that in the comments below. I have a free school that's very beneficial. If you guys haven't joined Your Skills Academy, that's linked in the description below. It's a great place to start. There's hundreds of people in this, and so many people have left comments, and there's so much going on there. And there's going to be actually some new content that'll go on there, and this video might actually be on there as well. So if this is posted in the school, the free school, then guys, what's up, guys? And just get around people who are brave as well. Like, this is important. It means you take risks. It means you go on the road that people haven't maybe gone on in your family. Maybe you're going to be the first one. But what's that going to mean for the future? One of the things we're going to talk about in the story challenge, this challenge that I'm going to have coming up, is think about how cool it would be if you could see your parents when they were like 18 or 25 or 50 or when they were 67. You could look at them and see what they were going through, and then you were able to be spared the things that they knew or the problems that they had because they shared with you. So I hope this was able to help someone out there. If it was, let me know in the comments anything you'd like to see, any other things you have that would help people share. Leave in the comments. I appreciate you guys all. We're gonna have a lot more videos like this. I've kind of finally, it's been probably about 10 months, and or about a year, I finally have an office set up. And as much as I love to go out in the streets filming, sometimes I like to just be here where my thoughts are and where I handle a lot of business, and just be able to jump on here and create some things that I believe that will help you to have a better life. And I think the more you can have a better life, the more you can shine your light. And the more you shine your light in the world that needs it, the better off the world would be. So on that note, appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching. I'll speak to you all later. And in the meantime, guys, remember to work hard, to be brave, and don't forget to smile. Ciao.